There are 5 things that people have been getting wrong about Yae Miko, and I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm going to tell you what those things are. What's going on, YouTube? Ledger here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact. And this time I actually want to talk to you guys about Yae Miko, right? I wanted to get a video about her earlier, but honestly I've been sick all week. I'm still sick now, but you know, it's time to talk about it. You know, we can't keep Yae Miko waiting all this time. But as I was saying earlier, I feel like there's things that ever since Yae Miko released back during the Inazuma days, I feel that she's constantly misunderstood. A lot of these misunderstandings have been cleared up, but I do feel that there's at least 5 that are still lingering around, right? And I want to clear those up. First things first.
Right here, right now, right here.
Now, whenever I hear somebody talk about it, they talk about it all the time when it comes to using Yae Miko. The main thing that when it comes to Yae Miko that people misunderstand, I believe, is that her rotation on the field is E-E-E-Q-E-E-E. Whenever people say that, I cringe a little bit because you should not be using Yae Miko that way. Now, if you're looking to get Yae Miko and you're looking to be able to use her optimally, do not follow what this says when it says the E-E-Q-E-E-E. What you should do whenever you're using Yae Miko in a rotation, you start off the rotation with her E-E-E, right? You place down her 3 pillars so it makes like a triangle at least, or have them at least be close together so they can all connect. And then you go through rotation. So Yae Miko's turrets are raining down lightning the entire time, and throughout the rotation, before you hop over to the main DPS, use a key and place the E's back down. Beautiful, simple. And then when the main DPS is done, you go back to Yae Miko, place her E's back again, and go back through the rotation. It's that simple, honestly. It really is that simple. You should not be doing E-E-E-Q-E-E-E in succession like that. That's just not the proper way how to play Yae Miko. That's one thing that really frustrates me when I hear people talk about it when it comes to using Yae Miko. Yeah, her field time can be longer than maybe officials, but you know, it's not that serious as if you split it up correctly, right? Now that brings me to my next point, right? When people keep comparing Yae to Fischl.
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
You see it all the time. They say, oh, Fischl is a unit that brings more value to the team because she does this and that, so on and so forth, which is true. Fischl does bring a lot of value to the team. She's one of those top tier 4 stars. She gives energy to the team. She gives good damage, especially with Aggravate, and she can hold Elegy. She is a great teammate and top tier S tier support, right? Or sub DPS in my opinion, right? But what I do disagree with is the comparison between Yae and Fischl. Yae and Fischl do not have the same role, right? Now, I understand, yeah, they're both sub DPS, right? They're supposed to do off-field damage. But, you know, so does Zhongling, you know, so does all these other units. So I don't think that taking Fischl compared to Yae is the main thing, right? So, because Yae and Fischl don't do the same things. Yae doesn't supply energy to the team. What she does is she just supplies a lot of damage to multiple enemies, right? It might be a single target each bolt, but because she's attacking numerous enemies all the time, I kind of consider that AoE, right? Especially when it comes to her burst too. So, she does this. So yeah, so she's attacking. She's doing a lot of damage to these enemies, right? And I don't know what kind of Yae's people are comparing, but she does a lot more damage than Fischl can do, right? A lot more, right? So that's the thing when it comes to that. When it comes to who to compare it to, I'd say more so she's comparable to Beidou in that sense. I look at her as an upgrade from Beidou, right? Because Beidou does do a lot of damage, especially when you have more than one enemy and her lightning is bouncing around. But when Yae came, the way I looked at it, I was like, all right, Beidou does not work with Raiden. So people were upset about that. So when Yae came, that was basically them supplying us with a Beidou that can work with Raiden. A character that could do off-field electro damage, hitting multiple enemies where it didn't matter if your character was doing normal attacks or not, right? And that was it. And if you think about it, Fischl and Beidou work very well together because Fischl helps battery Beidou. Same thing for Yae. Yae and Fischl work very well together because she batteries Yae, right? And that's just the way I always looked at it. So Fischl and Yae is not either or, in my opinion. It's either both, or depending on what role you need on the team, right? So that's the thing when it comes to that. That's my take when it comes to this whole Yae versus Fischl debacle, all right? Now, another thing too, right, is...
What do you think, Lady Guji?
Is people saying that Yae has energy issues. She does have a 90 cost burst. Her burst is 90 cost, and I understand that, right? That is a lot. But one thing that I believe I did mention in a previous video that I do have, but I did say that if you don't have a C1, you don't need to be doing her burst every single rotation. The main purpose of Yae is to make sure she's doing damage 100% of the time with her turrets always on the field. You don't need her burst to be able to do that. Therefore, if you go a rotation without bursting, you're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Her burst isn't supplying anything vital to the team except for damage. So in that sense, I find it much better to be able to build Yae for damage versus energy recharge. So people talk about, oh, you put Yae on the emblem set, you know, give her a bunch of energy recharge, 200% energy recharge, this and that. Don't do that. That is not how I recommend playing Yae. Because you're powering up her burst, but you are killing her real damage source, which is her skill, her ease, right? Her turrets. What you really should be doing is just try and get as much energy recharge as you can through the substats, right? If you get 130, 140, you're good to go, right? Maybe a little bit more if you don't have Fischl or anybody on the team. If you don't, then that's fine. Just don't burst every single rotation. Burst when it's up. Burst every other rotation, right? That's the thing. Because if you are making sure that those E's hit hard, then Yae is doing her job at that point. She's dealing 100% uptime on just constant damage.
What's he doing? Is to go even further beyond!
Now, another thing when it comes to Yae is, now, people don't say this as much as they used to now that she has Aggravate, but I do want to clear it up because I'm going to be showing clips. Because as you've probably already seen, I'm showing clips of Yae doing damage. My Yae is not C6, right? People were constantly under the illusion that Yae needed C6 in order to do decent damage. That is not the case. If you're building Yae correctly, she is doing constant damage. My Yae is C3. But if your Yae is C0, that means your Yae is probably doing about 20%. You should be doing about 20% less damage than mine if you have her weapon, right? If you have Widsith, then she should be able to still do that same amount when the buff is up, right? Or a little bit more. So that's the thing. So when it comes to how much damage she can do, she doesn't need C6 to be able to do noticeable damage, big damage. Damage that outdoes Fischl, right? Damage that rivals or can outdo Beidou. And that damage has 100% uptime. So that's the thing when it comes to that. So yeah, so that's one thing I did want to clear out too. C6 is not necessary. C0 Yae is dealing enough damage to be able to tear up everything in the game, outdoing a lot of the other sub DPSs in the game too, right? And then now with Aggravate, it's even more crazy, right?
Now.
And then, lastly, I want to go against the myth where people say that Yae takes up too much field time. Now, this one always aggravated me because pressing E3 times isn't going to take that much time, right? Yeah, I understand that Fischl's like a half a second. You press E once and you pop her out. That's fine. But like, with so many characters with mandatory downtime, like Raiden, like Ayato, like Hu Tao, like, not saying that Hu Tao and Yae should be going together, but like so many units have mandatory downtime. So why is it an issue that Yae just takes a little bit longer? Like, that just makes sure that the character that you're playing has enough time to breathe in order to get their burst or their skill back up so they can take the field again, right? So that's the thing when it comes to that. I never really understood that whole thing where she takes up too much time. especially if she's doing more damage in exchange for that extra second or two in order for the team to work. So that's the thing. I use my Yae with Sino right now. At first I didn't do it, but like people will say, oh, you know, Sino needs all this field time, so you shouldn't. No, but like if she has her turrets up for 14 seconds, that synergizes well with the long burst duration for Sino. She's doing a lot of damage with that. That's perfectly fine in my opinion. It's worth the extra time to set up those turrets. So I don't see the issue here, you know? Like, yeah, your rotation might take longer, but if she's doing more damage, that doesn't mean that your clear time in the Abyss is going to be longer, right? So that's one thing I always wanted to kind of get clear when it comes to, oh, this character has such a long burst duration, has so much field time and so on and so forth, or you know, things like that. If the value of what they're doing is high enough, then I feel that time is worth it. So that's the thing when it comes to that. But I won't talk for much longer because I'm going to try and edit all that out, but I'm actually struggling because I'm still sick and I'm coughing up a storm. You can probably hear it in my voice and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that you guys who are about to get Yae are going in armed, knowing how to use it correctly, and not giving into the different misunderstandings that people do have about the character, all right? And let me know what your thoughts are down below. What do you guys think of Yae? Are you guys going to get Yae? And do you already have Yae? And have you fallen victim to these misunderstandings, or have you figured it out yourself? Like the video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel if you like. If you want more content like this, definitely helps me out, all right? With that, I'll end it here. Legend out.